Hey everyone, my video is the post-game video of yesterday's game between the Rams and the 49ers down in LA at the Coliseum. And let me just say this, as a Niner fan, I am so proud. I am so proud of this football team. The way they're playing defense, the way they run the ball and all these things. They are playing very well right now. And being 5-0 right now is a good feeling. That defense is stout, though. I mean, I mean, I believe there was four times in that game that the Rams went for it on 4th and 1, and the 49ers stopped them cold each time. That's the sign of a championship defense. The offense, though, does have some things that it has to clean up. Like the drop passes and stuff like that. Um, I think I believe that I know that there were some other things too that happened on offense. Jimmy Garoppolo threw an interception. There was a fumble. Those things happen. But I think that I think that he did throw a lot of yards. I think he threw for what 275 yards or something like that. I can't remember, but he threw for over 200 and something yards, if I remember correctly. He ran for a touchdown, so he did pretty good in that game. Not great, but he's coming along. I think he's coming along, and he's only going to get better. And I think that going against a team like the Redskins next weekend. The Redskins, they're not quite as good as the Rams. They have their problems, and who knows? This could be a tune-up game for Jimmy. We'll see. But I think that we did a really good job. On all the phases of the game. The phases of the game. I think that the running game, though, I noticed the running game wasn't as potent as it was against Cleveland on Monday night. And part of that is because Kyle Juszczyk isn't playing. He blocks for Matt Breida. He opens up holes for Matt Breida, and because he wasn't playing, you could see that the running game was kind of suffering a little bit. They weren't getting those big, huge runs, but they managed well. And I think that the guys that are filling in for McGlinchey and Staley and Kyle Juszczyk. I think they're all handling their own pretty good, and I think they're gonna. So I think they're gonna be fine until those guys come back. Now, but they got after Jared Goff like I suspected they would, and they'd had to. Anytime you're going against a good quarterback, you've got to bring pressure. You've got to go after him and cause him to make mistakes, and they did. In the beginning of that game, though, I got a little bit nervous because our offense didn't get off to a good start at first, and then the Rams just ran the ball all the way down there and got a touchdown. You know, um, on their first possession. But then after that, the team got tough, and it's like the team just like battened down the hatches and went to war after that. But I'm so proud of the team. I think that we're in good shape. I think that we're going to, I don't want to say talk playoffs too soon, but it does seem to be teetering in that direction right now. And because you look at the next few games the 49ers have, they're actually winnable games. I think we can beat Washington, no doubt. I think that we can, and then after that there's Carolina. I think we can. I believe we can beat them. But I think that of the latest games coming up, I think that could be a tough game before we play Seattle. But I think that right there could be a tough game. Um, but I think we're capable of winning it. And then of course there's the Cardinals that that we should beat. Um, Although the Cardinals are they got a 2 game winning streak going on right now, so they're improving, but they're we're still miles ahead of them. Uh, but so that, I'm thinking, by the time we play Seattle, we could be 8-0. We'd only be two victories away from having a double-digit winning season, a winning record, double-digit wins. I mean, that's and we're only 5 games from that now, so um, we're heading in the right direction. This is a good feeling. I just feel that this team, I think Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, they know that they're kind of far into their contracts now. They have to start producing. Everybody's got to start producing on this team, and I think that when Jed York's brother died, he wanted the team to go out and get his brother a ring. You know, his brother that passed away, Jed York's brother who passed away. He wants to get a ring for his brother. So um, a lot of this could be contributed to that. Of course, it's still early, and we got to still see what happens down the road. We still got tough teams coming up down there. Green Bay, uh, the Saints and the Hawks. So we'll see what happens with that. And then we got to, and also we got to play the Rams again too. And I'm sure they'll be a little more healthier the next time, because they've had guys out on this game. But they're still a pretty tough team to play, and we went in there and we played hard and we did everything we could to win that game, and we did. I know people are kind of complaining about how the offense looked yesterday. The drop passes and all that. Certainly, these things need to be cleaned up. But I think that the offense did just enough for the team to win. And for those out there that are worried about how the offense is right now, kind of, the incomplete passes and all that, and turnovers, I think that thing that will get itself straightened out. I have no doubt about it. These guys understand what it's going to take to be successful to where they want to go, and they know that drop passes and turnovers is something that has to be avoided. So I look for them to clean that up. But this is going to be a good season. This is a good season so far, and I haven't had this feeling since 2011. When the team just, they came off a bad season in 2010, and then 2011 they just started playing really good. And I think that it just feels like that again. They play just like that team. They play they play they play tough defense. They play stingy defense. They run the football, oppose their will on other teams. That's how the 2011 49ers played. And this team is playing like that, and I'm just so excited about them. I'm really excited that where we are right now as fans, our team. I'm really excited about where we're going, and I think that at some point, I think at some point these guys will come back that are on injury, and when they do, look out. I mean, you saw how well we played today. I mean, we made some mistakes out there, but we went on the road against the NFC champions, and we did so with a banged up roster. I mean, to be fair, the Rams were banged up too, but our guys were still able to get it done with their injuries, and that's huge. That shows you the depth we have on this football team. The next man up, they call it, and I'm really looking forward to now about the Redskin game coming up next week. The 49ers right now are 9.5 point favorites in that game, and rightfully so, because the 49ers now are being recognized as a good team. They're starting to be recognized. I'm starting to hear analysts say good things. There's still ones that are still talking with doubts, and they're out there. And then there's some that are starting to acknowledge it. And so and I just think that our team is getting better. It's good. And the Redskins, they're going through problems right now. They got a win yesterday, but they're a team that's going through some, you know, kind of a process right now, or but and chances it seems as though we should win that game, but that's going to be I look at it this way. Even if a team seems easy, you might look at that team and you might say that's going to be an easy game. Um, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be an easy game. I mean, that team, they may feel good after their win. Granted, they played another bad team, but they're going to go in that game playing hard. And the Redskins really have nothing to lose. I mean, at this point, they probably very well know they can't possibly make the playoffs. Although in that NFC East, the teams in that division are so up and down, you just never know. So the Redskins, I'm sure, will go into that game and really try hard. So that's why the 49ers shouldn't overlook them when they go in there to play them. I believe very confidently we'll win that game without any doubts at all. But we have to play tough. We have to play them very, very tough. And I'm just excited, about where we are, how we're doing it, and I don't know about you guys, but God, it just feels nice, doesn't it? And they got to keep winning. And it's like I said, in past videos, I said that this is going to be a tough race. I said between three teams, it's going to be a tough race. And what you got to do is that because you got when you play these opponents in your division, you got to beat them. You got to be able to try to be ahead of them or keep pace with them. And when you play them, you must beat them, you must defeat them. And so far, we've done that. We still have to play the Seahawks yet, the Cardinals, and then the Rams again, and the Seahawks and the Cardinals again. So it's really important. I mean, if this thing comes down to the wire and you have three teams on the verge of being in the playoffs, somebody's going to be disappointed. It's possible a team could end with a winning record and not make the playoffs. If that team is in third place or whatever. The Rams are 3-3 now, so it's looking more and more like though it could be a two-way race between the 49ers and the Seahawks, and just maybe that rivalry is back. But we'll see how that turns out. But I think we're gonna win our next games. I think they're winnable. But the 49ers can't take anybody lightly, especially teams with losing records, because those teams don't feel that they have a whole lot to lose, and they will play you hard, and put out all the stops they can. So I think that I'm just excited that we are winning. I'm excited about 5-0. And think about this. Last year at this time, we were talking about the draft. Do you remember that? We're all talking about the draft. We had a bad record. I think at this point we only had one win, and we were all talking about the draft. Because we felt the season was already over. Not so now. We're in really good shape, and the season is winding down too, because I think about probably in a couple more weeks, when we get to week 8, that will be the midway point of the season. That will be the midway point. And when you get to week 8, that's the midway point. There's 16 games in a season, so that will be the midway point. And boy, the season is going fast. It's going fast. It's going right by. And we got to play. Still got some tough teams down the road. Like I was saying, we got the Packers and the Saints and those other teams. So we'll see what happens with that. One of the things that when I watched today's game, the defense just didn't. It just seems to stay the way it is. They still come with the blitzes. They still come in there with pressure. And and I noticed that every um, quarterback that we play against is always struggling against our defense. I mean, our defense is just doing an amazing job. I mean, because when their quarterback drops back to pass, and then kind of looks around like this and trying to figure out what to do, and then kind of scrambles a little bit, then you know that the pressure is working. And so I'm really happy about our victory. I think that there's a lot of good things coming. I think that the sky's the limit. But I don't want to get I don't. I mean, I know there's a lot of 49er fans out there right now talking about Super Bowl and all that. We just have to take it one game at a time, and we got to be humble. And one of my concerns is that we're probably going to start coming off the radar now. You know, um, because being when you're under the radar, when nobody notices you, it's usually good to get like a winning thing going, a winning drive going. A stretch drive they call it, and and you know, teams will no longer overlook you. But I think that teams are starting to recognize the 49ers. I mean, the 49ers yesterday beat the NFC champions and NFC conference champions. Or well, and the same thing, and NFC West champions, and so we are getting noticed now. And when you hear some of these analysts say good things about us, that's a sign. That's a sign right there that we're getting we're getting close to being on the radar again. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm just and Jimmy Garoppolo. He like I said before, he had a turnover or the interception. I don't really know that the interception was his fault. That may have just been a play call, and he just kind of lofted up there. Me myself, I would have just ran the football down there and try to push it in. Um, but but it is what it is, and so but none of these things hurt our chances to win. We won the game anyway. But that's all I want to talk about. Everybody, and so next week we'll talk about the Redskins. I'll do a video about that, and yeah, and after the game video, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next week. I think we'll win. I mean, we got some good odds going on for us. Next week we're predicted to win. By a couple of scores, I believe. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. This stretch now is going to be really, really interesting. And but some of these analysts, they still doubting us. I mean, there's some that are starting to talk about us now, but then there's some that aren't, and some of these ones that aren't are just going to be talking like we're not any good or whatever. We're just lucky. But I tell you what, this team is for real. I think it's a special team. And just the way the defense played makes me believe that this is a special team. I mean, that is it. Nick Bosa he believes that the 49ers defense is a championship-like defense, and and he's absolutely right. I mean, when you stop a team on 4th and 1 4 times, that's a stout defense. That's a good defense. That's a disciplined defense. And I'm just ecstatic right now. But we got to keep winning. We can't. We got to take it one game at a time. We got to be humble. We can't start jumping to the Super Bowl predictions and stuff like that. What I would do is if we go 8-0, or 7-1, I would start talking about playoffs, because at this point you're getting near double digit wins. And when a team gets near, when you get into double digit wins, usually there's a very strong likely chance you're going to get in as a playoff team. So I think that we're heading in that direction right now. Um, but we'll see. I mean, I'm sometimes the kind of person that's cautiously optimistic. But no, that's all I want to say. I think that's my video now, and I'll talk to everybody next week, and have a good week. All right, everybody, take care.